What is an early feasibility study and when it should be performed? An early feasibility study, or EFS, is a limited clinical investigation of a medical device at an early stage of development. At this point, the device is not yet fully optimized, and the goal is not to demonstrate the definitive clinical effectiveness, but to learn from initial use in humans. An EFS is typically conducted before the device design has been finalized and for a specific clinical indication. This is often the case when non-clinical testing alone is not sufficient to answer key questions about how the device performs in patients. Early feasibility studies are important because they allow sponsors and developers to assess initial clinical safety and performance, as well as early signals of effectiveness based on intended use of the device. These studies are conducted in a small number of subjects, no more than 15 usually, which helps limit patients' risk while still generating meaningful clinical insights. The information generated through an EFS can directly inform device modifications, guide design refinements, and support decisions about whether and how to progress into later stage clinical investigations. In this way, an EFS acts as a bridge between preclinical development and more traditional clinical trials. Under the European Medical Device Regulation, or MDR, clinical evidence generation follows a risk-based approach. For low-risk medical devices, clinical evidence requirements are generally limited, and a pre-market clinical investigation is not mandatory for conformity assessment. While an EFS may still be relevant in some cases, many low-risk devices can be placed on the market without conducting one. In contrast, higher-risk devices, such as implantable Class 2B or Class 3 devices, are subject to more stringent requirements. For these devices, clinical investigations are required to support conformity assessment and CE certification, and applications must be reviewed and authorized by both national competent authorities and ethics committees in accordance with MDR Article 62. The HEU-EFS pilot program supports these higher-risk devices by enabling early feasibility studies in small patient cohorts, typically no more than 15 subjects. And these studies provide early clinical insights but do not replace later-stage clinical investigation. Thank you for your attention.